news in America and news in Nigeria. Are you kidding? In America, it's okay. When they are broadcasting the news of something dangerous, whether it's a rain or fire, they'll be giving you guys everything in details so that you will not miss anything, and you will know the location of the place. Are you kidding? But in Nigeria, when something happens, and they want to tell you, you hear something like this. This man, I hear me. Here we are at the location of where they killed 200 people 3 years ago.
Don't talk about it.
The time they killed the 300 people, we are not available that time. But today, we thank God we are here.
Oh, then it's so
we ask the people around. Are you okay? In America, when a channel is for broadcasting news, they will not show you anything. Only news and updates about what is going on in the country. Are you kidding? But in Nigeria, the channel was supposed to give una news and update about the country.
God have mercy upon us.
They will be showing us cartoon.
Don't talk about it.
They are telling you the sufferness never reach your side. You never see anything. Are you kidding?
When I want to explain it, my head will be headache me. Yeah.
American news. Nigeria.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, please, I'm here to look for a job, sir. I came with my CV, sir.
No, we don't need CV here. All you need is 2 cups of garri, 4 cubes of sugar, granite and milk. Don't forget onions. And you.
And I don't want to believe in all of them. I don't believe in all of them. Emmanuel. Emma. Unbelievable. Emmanuel, the blood of Jesus. Emmanuel, how come, Emma?
Oh.
So you now work with Kellos?
Yes, I'm now the CEO of Kellos. The best place you can get your seats. Senator. Anything already made, now them they run them by themselves. All you have to do is contact them with the number shown on the screen. They deliver nationwide.
Did my mother born me and you together? Why are you following me, Emma? Oh, when Emmanuel, see, let me tell you.
Hello, young man. Who are you?
Esther.
No, I'm not talking to you. I mean, who are you? Who is the man?
You know that 95% of the Fulanis.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining me this evening or this morning or wherever you are. You are welcome. I think it makes sense to have people come and join us within the time you do. The time is quite early in the morning, but I thought I should just come online because it's towards Christmas, and I'll be doing a live session this evening for around 8. I think it's 9 for Nigerians, so that one is more positive. But I thought I should put the positive one just before Christmas and the negative one earlier to discuss some of the issues we've experienced in the year. And as we are heading out of the year 2025, to see some of the, I'll talk about some of the things we could do to reverse the negative things that has happened this year. Because there are quite a few of them, isn't it? As always, the conversation is going to be hard with the, objective of trying to educate and learn from people, and also bring people together, never to divide. We are not here to, try to point fingers at, just try to victimize people. I think Sometimes telling the truth can come across as trying to victimize other groups, but it's not necessarily true. It's trying to share the light. And sometimes when it comes across as you being persecuted or any group being persecuted, the reality is that maybe you shouldn't be seeing it as something to be defending yourself from. It's something to learn from and try to do better. Because there are so many things that goes on these days that one can describe as actually quite negative, and it results in very, very bad outcomes. And sometimes to talk about them, it feels like it's a no-go area. You should not talk about them. But what is life? What is life without needing to try to talk about these serious issues that are having some very significant effects, especially negative ones on our people and society, and how things are run. So we should be able to speak honestly about these things without apologies, without fear, and no matter who is feeling uncomfortable, um, try not to look at it as being uncomfortable. Try to look at it as somebody sharing information with you that you may not like, but may be good for you to learn from. Because if you look at it from that point of view, you'll be surprised what you can discover from engaging in such conversation. And I think that's why I always encourage people to come openly, not to come here to start defending a tribe or a race or a religion. Nothing. I don't do that. Just focus on trying to engage. Because if there is a reason for you to change certain things within whatever, let's say, tribe or a race or a religion, you should look at doing that. Because there are some serious cases that are worth the merit to re-examine. Is worth re-examining the way we do things in certain aspects of our lives. That said, the conversation here is about, I think I'm going to play a video about, Very Dark Man shared this video online, because I've always wondered that how is it that the herdsmen today has become a problem? Because they've always existed in Nigeria for hundreds of years, if I'm not, maybe 100 or 200 years, who knows? But they've been coming through Nigeria and has never really been a problem. So why has it become a problem? I think this video, Very Dark Man shared, will shed some light on that. But the topic is about all the negative things that has happened in the country this year and how we can reverse them. I think most of the top ones will be the insecurity. I think Trump threatening Nigeria. Which other one would you highlight? I don't know if anybody's in the chat. They can share information about which other negative stuff happened in the country. I know about the insecurity one. I know about the Trump one. You can also argue that the Fubara one wasn't a good thing. The measure that was taken in Rivers State, suspending the House of Assembly and the governor not being able to do his job. You can come up there's the Natasha Akpoti's case too. That's a call that is not good. And defections, party defection may not be a good thing too. Maybe it's something that we can look at. I think there is a debate in the House of Assembly, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of trying to do something about defections in Nigeria. Because these politicians, they don't seem to have any principles. They just move from one party to another with the excuse that there's a problem with the other party, so they can just jump ship and carry the ticket from another party and jump into another party. I think that is not appropriate behavior, and it should be banned, really. No condition should allow that to happen. If you want to leave your party to another party, leave your ticket there, then go to the other party and compete again and contest an election. So that would be good. I can see you there on the chat. Security by long-term strategy. Yeah, that is an important thing to consider in terms of trying to reverse the damages that has occurred this year. That's something we can look at. How to get a national. That's a good one. National identity is a good one too. National identity is a solid one. I think that's you really, man. As Valiant, you seem to be coming up with quite a lot. I think National Assembly, national identity is a good one because I think that is one of the biggest problems we have in Nigeria. We don't have nationalists. I don't know anyone, has Valiant, do you know any nationalist in Nigeria that you can call a true nationalist today? That you would say this guy, you can't associate him too closely with any tribe or religion. He's just a nationalist. So it will be good to see whether we can, we have them in Nigeria anymore. And even if we had nationalists, they are all very silent. They don't get involved. They don't talk too much. They are very quiet. And I'm not sure that is a good thing for a country like ours. We need a country where you have nationalists. Without nationalists, your country, it's almost like, in any religion, you don't have any faith. Nations need nationalists. Because nationalists, they don't only believe in the constitution, they also believe in making the nation strong. They believe in making the nation functional. They believe in making the nation prosper. That is what nationalists believe in. And it's a shame that we have not produced a lot of them. And we as Nigerians, we have to be asking ourselves, what are we doing wrong that we're not creating more of them? Is this something we teach our children every day? Is it something we encourage our politicians and our officials to behave like? That's why they are not behaving like nationalists. Make no mistake, if your leaders and your society doesn't create nationalists, there's something about the people that is causing it. The people are complicit in it. Because nationalists are like everything else, like a football team. If you don't encourage your people to play good football and train them very well, you're not going to produce good footballers that will go on to win tournaments for you. It's not going to happen. So you can't blame them. Look at the kind of effort like a nation like Brazil puts in football. Are you surprised that they go on to do very well in the competitions? They make a lot of sacrifices for football. The same thing you can say for other nations that have done well in any endeavor, really. They put a lot of effort in it. And we as Nigerians, the results we are seeing, I don't know why many of us are often surprised by Nigeria. I don't understand it. What you are seeing in Nigeria is exactly what you should expect. In some areas, I actually think Nigeria is doing way better than we should. We have the right to expect, but most of us feel entitled. We feel like we should expect those things without taking into account what other nations have to do to get those things. How can you expect some other person? It's like saying this person is able to lift 10 kg. Because of that, they have won this medal. You can only lift 5 kg, but you want to win the same medal. That's not fair. You can't expect to lift 5 kg and expect to be categorized in the same group as somebody that can lift 10 kg. It's not fair. And that is the truth about Nigerians. But the problem is that our people don't do that calculation about comparing themselves with other people and what other people have to do to get their civilizations in place. Often is very painful. Often is very hard. Often it involves process of long-term pain where the people are just their living standard is not good. Like in the UK now, even if relatively they are doing better off than Nigeria, way better off than Nigeria, but for the last 15 years or so, the people themselves voted for a party that told them that they were going to make their life harder. That they came into office telling them, we are going to make your life harder, but it's going to be better at the end of the day. And it still didn't get better when they threw the party out. Because after 15 years, they were still suffering and it still didn't get better. So it tells you that it's not only Nigeria that experiences these things, other countries experience it, but in different ways. But like some of the negatives that I can call out is there's another one, which is corruption. Like Bello is still, I think Bello is still free, if I'm not mistaken. Ngige has been arrested. Farouk has been dismissed, if I'm not mistaken, from his position. And Mayfield is still in jail. So that is the headline for corruption. Prosecution of bandits. I don't think we've seen any serious prosecution of any bandits in Nigeria or terrorists. It's a strange thing, isn't it? That we have a country that is being ravaged by terrorists, but hardly have we had any major trials for even one of them that I can remember. That is astounding. For how many years we've not had a big trial of a terrorist leader? Not the high-ranking one, nothing. That is the national news. In the UK or in the West, you often see that they always bring somebody that they caught, and that person will be facing trial. Sometimes it can go for years, but the person, you will know that person has been caught and is facing trial. But you don't see that in Nigeria. It's not strange. Has Valiant is saying it's not strange, the bandits thing, if you really know what's going on. I guess depend on how you are looking at it. That if I really know what's going on, I guess. But let's say something is going on. Let's say the military or some top brasses are corrupt and they are not very good or something. They are shady. But there are also other people that are not shady. Why have they not been able to at least drag some of them to the light and to face justice? So as much as I sympathize with the fact that there are a lot of Nigerians that are compromised, but not all of them are. Clearly, not all of them, but many of them are just getting away with murder. We don't see them being tried. You don't see any bandit being arrested, and you don't see any big case, and you barely even get any heroes in Nigeria. Heroes that go on to fight insecurity. You don't see that. It's like Nigeria deliberately doesn't want to create heroes. Other nations, they create heroes all the time. The closest to heroes that we've seen in Nigeria, I think it's Musa for this year. I think he's the defense minister now. I think it's Musa. You can say he's a hero from the point of view of Nigeria because everybody seems to like him for some reason. I'm not so sure why. It may be linked to the fact that when the president sacked him, things got worse in terms of insecurity. Or it may be because some people perceive him as actually being sincere, that he really wanted to deal with the insecurity problem that we face in Nigeria. So it's something that is worth exploring further to understand why Nigerians seem to like this guy and this general. So it's something that is worth looking into. I don't necessarily know. I've seen him on Al Jazeera and many online platforms talking about how some foreign entities are not helping Nigeria in terms of the insecurity problem we are facing, how they don't want to sell us weapons, things like that. He's talked about them. So he's one of the most outspoken. You can give it to him. So that's why maybe people you just ask about a nationalist. Yeah, is because he's distinguished himself. I don't know, but how, okay, you come and let me know how he has distinguished himself, because I don't know how he has necessarily distinguished himself in terms of securing the country, because there's still clearly a lot of insecurity going around. I just learned that some young people were brought back from being kidnapped. I think yesterday they got released. And there is also a lot of people that feel unsafe on Nigerian roads. A lot of people like to use flights because just to avoid the roads, because they fear that there's going to be one problem or the other. It could be robbery, it could be bandits, it could be terrorists. So that too is going on. And the Nigerian security forces, even if the president has made some pronouncements in terms of withdrawing VIP security, I'm not even sure whether that has actually taken effect, and recruiting more into the police. That too, I don't know how much has happened on that front. So it's something that is worth observing and seeing maybe whether there will be progress. Because I'm not sure that is going to lead to much of a progress, because the country, they are still not ready. I'm not even sure Nigerians themselves are ready to do what it takes to turn the country around. But I believe if they are lucky enough to get a good leader that wants to, they will follow. From that point of view, Nigerians are very, very easy to rule. If you just get one solid leader that just managed to do the right thing even if it's for just 3 months, succeed in doing the right things for 3 months, Nigerians will do their best to protect that leader. and they will do what they can to ensure that that leader succeed, especially this day and age, given everything they've been through for, more than 10 years of insecurity. So let me stop talking for now. What I've got to say. Let me just play this video of VDM talking about how herdsmen, let me just play the video. There's no point talking about it really. All right.
That you are seeing in your village, we always used to pay your traditional rulers before we landed into your village. But some of you guys don't know anything about it. But seriously, any Fulani that you can see in your village, or any Fulani that can spend like 1 to 3 or 5 months in your village, I see it to go, they used to pay your traditional rulers. So we used to pay them money before they will allow us to stay like 1 to 3 months in their places. But if like you just pass, they will not collect them. But if we will come and spend like 3 to 4 months, we must pay them. So I know some of you guys don't know about it. So we used to pay your traditional rulers. Serious about. I see so many people are saying we are going around with in the bushes that we did not own. Which I said we used to pay for it. Actually, traditional rulers, I swear we used to pay them. If we will spend like 1 to 2 to 3 months, we'll go and find them. We'll give them money, they'll collect. Before we will stay. So stop saying we are going around with our cows in your bushes and we're not giving you guys anything, which it is wrong. We are paying. I say, Zam.
All right, so you heard what he said. According to the Fulani guy, that all the communities that they have cows, all the communities that they carry their cow and they enter, that before they come into those communities, they pay the community leaders, like the Igwe, like the chiefs, that they make sure they pay those people. Now, the question is this: if you pay those community leaders, did you pay for people farmlands? Did you pay for maize? Did you pay for people cassava where your cow they chop? That's another thing entirely. If you pay me, you they enter bush. It's different from people crops where these people they chop, people farmlands. And to crown it all up, did you pay for people's lives? Because a lot of communities, they protest around Nigeria. Enugu, Benue own, I know. I always emphasize on Benue because I know how many people don't lose their lives. Countless people don't lose their lives because of this whole Fulani herdsmen issues. Do you understand? Did you pay for people's lives? But again, this thing where this Fulani talk now not open our eyes. You understand? So now, any problem where they happen, Mona, every community, go straight to your community leader first. Go straight to your community leaders and ask them. A lot of them are Judases. A lot of them are betrayals. They set you people off. They set you people off so that they feel the power and they don't collect small money. No wonder a lot of times they can't talk. No wonder a lot of times they can't talk. Most times they know they feel talk anything. Because some of them, they don't heavy their pockets. Slowly, we will reach solution for this herdsmen issue. Slowly. But you heard what the guy said. That they pay community leaders before they carry their cow, enter any community for Nigeria. This country, greed.
There's genocide against the poor in this country. There's genocide against Muslims in this country. There's genocide against Christians in this country. There's genocide against children in this country. To now separate it and say maybe it's one religion or the other. Interestingly, Nigeria doesn't count or do DNA of people who are killed to determine whether they are carrying a Bible or a Quran. So the number of people that were abducted on our road yesterday, did anybody find out whether they are Christians or Muslims? Whereas the US can nitpick symbolically to say, because they have policies, definitely. They say, oh, there are genocides against Christians in Nigeria. Why is the US not taking the same position in Gaza? That there's genocide against Muslims by Israel. So there's international hypocrisy about that. In a country where they are killing 6,000 people a day, you did not designate the killer as a genocidal government. But you are here. Please, let's be careful. I am not in any way defending what is happening in Nigeria. But I'm just saying that the problem with Nigeria has nothing to do with religion. It's complete irresponsible leadership and insecurity that kills everybody.
Yes.
What about when the terrorists go and kill people in the mosque? When you talk about insecurity in this country today, it happens more in the north. in the Muslim part of the north. And that's the truth. That's where they go to mosque. I think they killed about 35 people in a mosque in and the people who killed them were not Christians. They are probably people who identify as Muslims. So, but the truth is that we like to water down the responsibility of our leaders by this gives them an alibi. Okay, and then the US will come with a policy to say we want to protect Christians. It's okay. Let's bring a big boat and take all the Christians out and see if nobody will get killed again. There's genocide against the poor.
I think that is true. I really support what Shore had to say there. I think Shore, many times when he talks, I often find him a little bit either tone. It's like he doesn't capture the tone of the nation. At the same time, I also find that he can be a little bit obnoxious sometimes. But on this one, he's right. And I really wish he really strikes this type of tone often. He will start making more and more impact. But that is that anyway. And he's right on that everybody is also under attack. That said, I noticed what the guy behind him said about, it's extreme Muslims. I don't know what the difference is, whether extreme or not. It's generally them that are still doing some of all these heinous acts. And from what there's something that happened in, I think it's Bangladesh recently, that seems to be causing a lot of problem in that area. A Hindu man was said to have done something, it's a kind of blasphemed against Islam. And this guy was caught, beaten, hung, and set alight, almost similar to what happened to Deborah in Nigeria. And the Hindus in that area are losing it right now. And they are really getting crossed by it, that why is it that this happened to this man? And it turns out that the man may not have even done anything wrong. And there is no evidence to show that he did anything wrong. And he was just basically lynched because of it. So it's something that we have to keep an eye on, because the idea that this is not, because of religion, I don't know why people keep saying that. Because somewhere along the line, they still keep producing these other people that are so passionate that they are willing to take life because of something somebody said that didn't even take any life at all. But in terms of the topic at hand, how to reverse the negatives that has happened in this country, I would say there are three. I don't know whether there are three. Let me just list the ones I know. Insecurity, number one. Which other most concerning one is there other than insecurity? One can say corruption has not been very, very big on the news this year. For some reason, it hasn't been very big on the news, but it's big because it's hidden. And right now, the corrupt practices in Nigeria seems to be controlled from the center, so you don't necessarily catch it. If anything, they are the one ruling. So extremism is not a particular Muslim problem. Yeah, but as Valiant, they are the ones doing most of the violent acts, though. They are the ones. I wouldn't say most, actually. If you think about it, it's actually the Abrahamic religions. The Abrahamic religions are very violent. And technically, they make up about 50% of the population of the world. And if you look at the population of casualties from conflicts in the last 5 years, they probably involve Abrahamic religions about 80 to 90% of the time. So you see, as well as you see, you agree with that. You see what I mean? So there is something there. There is something there that is triggering that is causing that that issue. And it's something that we seriously need to keep an eye on. I think maybe that's a conversation to have another day, where we ask this critical question: why is it that the Abrahamic religions are by far the most violent religions in the world? By far, by a long shot, the most violent. And even if they make up about 50% of the population of the world. That said, and you can see that that's also linked to, Islamic. The Islamic part is from the militant part that is called the extreme part, but why the Christian part tends to be from the governments themselves. So maybe that's just a way of the way they all manifest their own extremism. Um, on the insecurity end, if we want to reverse it, I guess we can come on. I will invite people on stage to come and share their opinions on how to reverse the insecurity problem. And then on the corruption issue, how to reverse it, we can look into that too. The third one, I don't know whether this party uh, issue is a party crisscrossing party is a more serious one. Because this is not, it's not like we don't know there is hunger in Nigeria. So we can also say, how do we reverse poverty in Nigeria? You know, so we could look into that if somebody feels strongly that that is the major problem. I think maybe I will leave that to viewers to suggest maybe there is other sub areas where we can, that should be included as part of the problem that needs to be reversed in the coming year. Unemployment, not poverty. I guess unemployment is one of them too. I I guess you can include unemployment, but unemployment doesn't stand out like insecurity does. You see what I mean? I was looking for something that has a punch that has been plaguing Nigeria for this year. And most of the time, people hardly talk about unemployment. They talk about inflation. They talk about cost of living sometimes. And I guess salary. I guess if you, I don't know. I guess you, when you come in, you can look at unemployment. Issue as valiant. For me, it just looks like insecurity dominated everything this year. It dominated everything, and the issue of crisscrossing party is a serious one. Um, the issue of marginalization too is also coming up. That said, it's mostly focused. The center, it seems to be from the southeast. So, but there is that issue is there. It's coming up again. The marginalization issue. So maybe it's something that can be looked into. Constitutional reform. They talked about police, local state police. Was that state police was quite big in terms of the news recently. It was quite big. Crime and poverty are twin problems. Crime and poverty are twin problems. Are you sure though? Is it acute poverty? Yes, could lead to crime. That's for sure. Because if people don't have food at all, they will go and steal. And if there's no way, especially not just food at all, they can't find any way to work to make money. Then they don't have much of a choice, do they? If they find any food so anywhere, they will go and look to steal it. So crime and poverty are quite, yeah, that's where you say they are related. But you have to understand that from where I see it, like the UK now, they have about 1 million criminal convictions every year. So they have money, they have wealth. So why are people still committing crimes? So you can say crime related, poverty related crimes. You see what I mean? Maybe you want to look at poverty related crimes. So it's good. It would be good to actually check the UK criminal, conviction categories, what kind of crime they committed, to ascertain if that 1 million plus included poverty crimes. Because maybe that's what you are referring to here when you said crime and poverty are linked. That way, yeah, you probably will be right to say poverty and crime they have a linkage, but it's not. It doesn't apply to all the time. That it doesn't apply all the time. I mean, there are some situations whereby even when you have resources, you still commit crimes anyway, like the UK does. 33% of men in the UK have got criminal convictions. So that is what we are dealing with here. So it's not always, it's not an ultimate reason for crime. Crime is committed by people that have access to wealth. As a matter of fact, most of our politicians that are busy stealing from us, it's not because they are poor. They are already rich, they are still stealing nonetheless. So criminal behavior is criminal behavior, and they should be punished accordingly. There is another, just to cover a little bit of headlines before we get into the main discussion about what we can do to reverse the issues we've had this year, and some of them have gone. It's not just this year we had this problem. It's something that has been going on for sometimes even almost 2 decades now. And for me, my focus is on security. Other people may come in and say they care more about poverty. Education is also there. A lot of people feel strongly about education, in terms of as a priority. So there are different ways of looking at these things. In terms of the news, there was something on the news recently about President Tinubu saying that Nigerians should not drink alcohol during Christmas. As a Muslim, I think it's not surprising for him to say that. As a president, I'm not so sure whether that is advised for him to say, because it just goes into the reason why Trump had to intervene in Nigeria, because there is this idea of the ascendancy of Islam in Nigeria, whereby because they walk the corridors of power, they are trying to kind of almost promote in a kind of generous term their faith. But if you want to look at it the other way, in a more less generous terms, you say impose their faith on the nation. And the truth is that most Muslims are not, they can't help but want to share their message with other people. Like, it's almost universal for them to want to share their message with other people. So for President Tinubu to say that Nigerians should not drink alcohol, it shouldn't be surprising. Most people that speak to Muslims will know that by default, that even if you are talking about something relating to your, both of you, or work or anything, a Muslim is far more likely to use whatever judgment or opinion that they hold or anything based on their religion. Often they will even bring it up and say, in our religion, we are not allowed to do this, we are not allowed to do this. You see what I mean? So why are people surprised to hear President Tinubu saying don't drink alcohol? So from that point of view, you can understand why why he said what he said. But let me just play the video and see, anybody can make their maybe I shouldn't have even bothered explaining. Let them make up their own minds. Let's see.
With just 2 days to Christmas, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sparked online debate after advising Nigerians to celebrate the festive season without alcohol. Tinubu made the remarks on Sunday while receiving organizers of the Ayo Festival at his Lagos residence. The president urged citizens to mark the holidays responsibly, warning against actions that could threaten public order and safety. His comments have generated mixed reactions across social media platforms. Let's take a look.
The coming Christmas will be a joyous one for every one of us. Amen. The coming holidays will not be a disaster for Nigeria. Amen. Lord, we bless all of you. Amen. You stay in peace, rejoice in peace, dance in peace. Amen. No alcohol, no danger to anybody's life. No, bro. Everybody is a member of this great family. ECO is making progress. Nigeria is making progress.
All right. Nigeria is making... No, the producer is so excited about this story. Let me take some reactions. This is from Baba Tunde, who wrote, Baba, Thank you for all you're doing for our country. But, sir, please, sir, permit us to disobey just this once. There will be alcohol, but we'll drink responsibly. No drinking and driving. Well, Lahi Lauren wrote, President Tinubu's advice is practical and responsible, encouraging people to celebrate safely, avoid alcohol abuse, and ensure no harm comes to others. Promote peaceful festivities and public safety. His reminder reflects the government's commitment to protecting lives and fostering a culture of responsible celebration during the holiday season. Well, another Instagram user wrote, make we no booze after all the wahala where they put us through. No, but you go tell us what thing we go do. Then finally another user wrote, who else is reading this message with a cup of alcohol? I mean, as fresh as the message is, I mean, it's a good advice. But Christmas and alcohol, I'm sorry, President Tinubu, it goes hand in hand. That's for me. Hand in hand. Christmas and alcohol. Yes, so, but I mean, the idea of drinking responsibly is really what it is. I mean,
it goes
hand in hand, yes. Quickly, and then we move to the next story.
Dear President, but I know it's
supposed to be a fun story.
It's a fatherly advice.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we know what you mean, but it's just all for them.
Yes.
But don't forget to, as you said, they should do the abuse. You know, you will charge VAT on alcohol next year when your tax law comes into play. And that VAT is important. It's very dirty December VAT.
Dirty December. Do you know?
President Tinubu, you know we need revenue. Revenue. Alcohol VAT is good revenue.
All right. I mean, I did enjoy the advice. It's a great advice. And, you know, talking about drinking responsibly and, you know, you also encourage Nigerians to be, you know, really safe during this season. Prayed for Nigeria, said Nigeria will be safe. And inshallah, who defeat banditry. You know, get another one. All right. Well, all right.
Yeah, that, as you can see, that was his message to Nigerians. Operate machinery. Oh, I see your message. Yeah, I think most people will regard it as just an advice, but it was the term he used, no alcohol. He could have just said drink responsibly. He'll say no alcohol. Seems ideological or religious, isn't it? To say no alcohol at all. No alcohol while driving, yes. If you said that, people will accept it. But if you tell them no alcohol at all, they will read it as you telling them not to practice their own kind of traditions. You see what I mean? They will interpret it as that. If you told them, okay, drink responsibly, yes. In other words, you're telling them to drink, but not to drink irresponsibly. Like when you're about to drive, you get on the wheel and start driving. That is not a no. You shouldn't do that. You see what I mean? So that makes sense for a leader to advise the people. But you cannot tell them not to take alcohol, because the danger of that is you are going to trigger in people's minds that you are trying to make them more like Muslims instead of like every other Christian nation that take alcohol during Christmas. So that is that anyway. Like I said, I'm going to be going through my own opinion, individual opinion, but you can say well-researched opinion base. I'm sure I'm actually quite, how do I put it? I'm not sure a lot of people have bothered to do this research deeply as I have. And in terms of the security problems that Nigeria has had in the last year, I've talked about it endlessly. Like, I've been talking about this for a long time now. And not just for a long time, almost repeatedly, like a broken clock. And people are irritated by me because it's like I don't talk about anything else. And even if they understand the reason why I don't talk about anything else, I can understand why they feel irritated by it, because it's almost as if I'm one-dimensional. There is nothing else going on in Nigeria. That is true. There's a lot going on in Nigeria you should look at. But if you have a vision where you believe that at the core of all the problems you have, that one is the main one that is causing all of them, should you still worry more about the ones that is not causing everything and deal with them individually, while instead of dealing with the source of the problem? And for me, in my mind, insecurity is not just insecurity from the point of view most people think about it, like, oh, kidnapping people and all that stuff. No, it goes way deeper than that. It's a lot more. It's not just deeper, broader too. It also affects the way your politicians behave. It also affects how other nations are able to manipulate or control you. It affects almost everything you do. It affects your access to other nations too. Because nobody will share anything with you. If somebody wanted to share any important thing with Nigeria, they will not want to share with Nigeria because they know Nigeria cannot protect it. Would you give your valuable to somebody that you know cannot protect that valuable? That anybody, any bully can come and take that valuable from that person. So that person now, because they don't have the ability to protect anything, you're not going to give them any valuable. So this is what I mean by national security is way deeper than just fighting bandits. It affects everything. There are knock-on effects continuously on so many aspects of our lives. And this is why I really think if we want to reverse our problems, we need to take it extremely seriously. Extremely, dead seriously. Like, without it, nothing else will work. Because this is why nobody wants to give us money. This is why nobody wants to share important technologies with us. As a matter of fact, it's the excuse that the West gave for removing our research nuclear power plant. Not power plant, nuclear reactor. We had a research nuclear reactor in Nigeria. The reason why they took it out of Nigeria, I'm not sure they returned a less, a less dangerous one. They took it out because they felt Nigeria could not protect it and the North was a little bit insecure. That's why they removed it from Nigeria. Most people don't even know Nigeria had a nuclear reactor. We had one in Nigeria that was used for research purposes in the North, if I'm not mistaken, in Kaduna. Due to insecurity, they decided that they're going to remove it from Nigeria. So you see what I mean? It affects everything you do. Oh, let me see what Has Valiant is saying. Are you sure Tinubu is a Muslim, doesn't drink? Yeah, I think he says he's a Muslim now. What can you do? It was a Abacha thing. I don't know what you mean, but you do realize that there are no quick fix, right? I think there is quick fix for the bandage problem. It's only the only reason why there's no quick fix is because Nigerians don't believe there is a quick fix. You'll be surprised how fast things can be fixed if you mean business. You will be shocked how fast things move. It's a quick fix. If you put somebody like that has my mentality in office, in 1 year, you're going to see a massive drop. Like that, the drop you're going to see is going to be so massive. You are going to be like, what just happened here? You see, what people don't realize is when the people mean something, you'll be shocked at the results you get. Let me give you a clear example of something that happened recently in living memory, which is not very even long, barely 2 years. When Trump wanted to come into office and he was going after the immigrants, saying the immigrants should not come to Nigeria, that America, through the American border, how many millions came in just the year before he came into office? But now that he's by the time he got into office, within a year, that number had declined more than 80%. Within a year, just by him talking alone, he hasn't even done anything yet. The number of immigrants coming to the border dropped drastically. So my point is that if you wanted to do what I recommended, like you wanted to recruit significant numbers into the military and the police and customs and secret service, if you wanted to do that, don't you think the bandits would know about it? When they know about it, they will think, this is like too much. Oh. We didn't practice for this one. We are not going to be able to take on millions upon millions of soldiers when we are just 30,000. There's no way we can cope with that. And they know that. Hence why you will reduce the activity significantly even before the soldiers emerge in the field. Just like the immigrants knew when they got to the border of America, Trump is waiting for them on the other side. They know that's not going to end well. So most just choose not to come to the Nigerian borders anymore. So that's what I mean, as valiant, when I said that you can make some significant change quite rapidly. Within a year, you can drop insecurity by 80%. Sometimes just by even saying things, you'll be surprised how quickly the insecurity goes away. So let me just play this video of somebody saying something about what do you call it? Let me see. I think this one is about people flying jets to Nigeria. This lady was talking about how people. We'll talk about that in the next session. But let me just play this video just to hold this space for the time being.
Do adults say to their juniors, you are just a child, you don't know anything?
That is because sense grows with time. The more you grow, the more sensible you will become. You will understand when you grow up.
Teacher, if sense grows with age, why do some adults still think like newborn babies? For example, my uncle hired a nanny and didn't even check if she was medically safe for his own children. Now all his 4 children are infected with HIV by the nanny. Doesn't that prove that age can grow, but sometimes the brain stays the same size?
Bobby, your uncle skipped using common sense, but that doesn't change the fact that adults have lived longer. Longevity itself teaches you things.
Teacher, living long doesn't mean learning well.
Yeah.
Some people live long and say argue loudly with ATM machines. Longevity is not a university degree.
Bobby, children often act without thinking, but adults think before acting.
I disagree with you, teacher. Thinking is not guaranteed by adulthood. It is a personal choice.
Bobby, the truth is when you become an adult, you will understand why adults say to their junior ones, you are just a child, you don't know anything.
Teacher, I think adults say you are just a child simply because it is the easiest way to end a conversation they are losing.
So you are saying adults shut down arguments just to win?
Exactly, teacher. If an adult is arguing with a child and starts losing, instead of just saying they ran out of points, they bring out this oldest weapon in history. You are just a child, you don't know anything.
I'm tired of arguing with you, Bobby. You are just a child, you don't know anything.
Just what I'm talking about. I'm just a child now because you are losing the argument.
Get out of my class now.
Refund my school fees now.
All right, so that one is just an interlude break. So let me read what Has Valiant is saying, which is interesting that I misunderstand Boko Haram versus Suno FG sponsored Fulani. I think I would like you to come in and explain that, because you literally use Suno FG sponsored. You are literally saying the government sponsors these people. Maybe individuals in the government, in my opinion, are the ones that sponsor them, not FG themselves. So it's something that I think we may want to explore. Let me see what else is there. Insecurity issue can be far more easily fixed. Yes, I think that's exactly what I'm saying. People, I don't know why they pretend as if the stuff is so like rocket science to fix. It's not hard. You have people on the ground in Nigeria, you can give them some good money and they give them weapons and they go and do their job. Yeah, it's going to cost some money, but it's going to save us even far more money. I don't personally, it's a win-win. You know, I will invest. So if I had the money, Tinubu now he wants to go and borrow at least 20 billion this year. At least he wants to borrow. How much is he going to spend for national security? You know, so I don't know, man. Some of all these people, they just keep borrowing money every year. He doesn't build a world-class hospital. Oh, I think healthcare for politicians is one of the big ones that we can look to stop. Because even Akpabi was said to have flown overseas recently for treatment. This needs to stop. I think we have to draw a line on that one. That one should be an easy line. You know what? We should have some agendas, some things we want to do to better this nation. I think it's something I will talk about in the positive session. Because this one is about the negative stuff that's happening in Nigeria. But on the positive side, we have to be talking about things that needs to be done, agendas we have to have for the nation and some of them are easy, that we have to talk about. I think that's going to be coming in the evening. That we can push for, that needs to be put in place, because if all these things are put in place next year December, you will see a lot of improvement in Nigeria, because most of the damage the government has done to the economy in the last 3 years, I think it's done now. They are not doing it anymore. They've stopped the damage that they've done, and they are not doing it anymore. So now we still have a chance to build up again. Hopefully they don't go and do something to damage it, bring it down again, like trying to go and invade the Sahel nation or do something stupid as inviting Trump to come to Nigeria. Do you know that the Nigerian military is working with the Americans now to carry out surveys, as they say, of terrorist hideouts in Nigeria? Terrorist hideouts in Nigeria. Surveys. You mean like the one they did in Syria? Like the one they did in Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan? How is that going to solve any problem? Because you know where terrorists are. The terrorists will just live there. You think they are sitting there waiting for people to come and bomb them? They will just disappear from that place. You will just be there, but you bomb an empty space. According to one Western analyst, he said you will just be pounding the ground with bombs. What use is that? And especially when you go and allow these foreigners to come and scan your country, survey your country, you are giving them access to you don't know what equipment they are using to survey the land. They are surveying your natural resources. They are surveying where they can. Man, our people, our sense of threat is dead. We don't have any sense of fear at all. And this thing, Lord Lugard even said this, that we simply don't have any apprehension of the future based on what he saw then. If you look at the way our leaders behave today, how is it different? That behavior has not stopped. We still walk around thinking that everybody means us goodwill and we are going to be fine no matter what hits us. No, we are not. You are not going to be fine. Was it not scientists that said that 99% of all living things that has ever existed has already gone extinct? 99% of everything that has lived in life has already gone. What makes you think you are special? We know the Neanderthals were here once and they are gone today. The Denisovans were here once, they are gone today. The Homo erectus, Homo naledi, name it. These are all hominids, and people that used to walk around like us, they're all gone. It's not because it's personal. Because when something else is stronger than you, it's just a natural thing to happen. It's nature doing its thing. And we as the people have to realize that the world doesn't owe us a living. If we keep misbehaving, there will be consequences to our action. And I'm very, very concerned. Every time I look into the relationships we have in this world and how the power structure operates, I really worry for our people. I really worry for them. It makes me concerned that we are not aware of how much danger we are in. I don't mean to scare people. It's not about scaring people. It's about just sharing the truth to you. Like I said in the earlier segment, that we need to start grappling with the truth of our situation. You don't have to panic. It's not a panicking thing. It's a rational thing. You should be happy that you're hearing this thing so that you can be a little bit more paranoid, a little bit more careful about the way you take your security. You should take it on board as an advice, a well-earned, not even well-earned, but a very valuable advice that actually saves lives, even more than what a doctor can save. Doctor can save you, but he cannot save your next generation. He cannot save your generation and generation. The advice that I'm giving you right now could be more vital for that than a doctor can ever give you. You may not like it, but it's just the truth. Sometimes little things like this that seems little can transform the world and transform fates of people. And if we don't nail down this insecurity problem, it's going to be our entire undoing. That single act of not nailing down that insecurity problem. And one of the main reasons why we don't focus on that is because there's a lot of kind of this cloud of distraction that we have. If it's not Muslim, like now, what Tinubu said triggered a lot of people because they were looking at it from the point of a Christian Muslim thing. And there is also the tribal aspect, ethnic group kind of thing. It often that cloud is very distracting. It doesn't allow us to see clearly that what we have a shared interest in making sure we solve this insecurity problem, which again is relatively easy to solve, at least at a level where you don't get these silly bandits going around taking people at will, silly terrorists attacking places at will. All that will go away if we just do those little things. It doesn't cost us a lot of money, but it brings us a lot of money instead. It costs us nothing. This is what Dangote talks about. It's almost as if you spend poverty and gain wealth. Because what we do in Nigeria generally is export wealth and import poverty. Why don't we this time spend on wealth so that we expel poverty? Because insecurity is costing us billions upon billions upon billions of dollars every year. Billions of dollars. It's costing us far more than we will ever invest in it. So let's keep that on board. Let's keep that in mind as one of the top priorities. And not just keep that in mind as one of the top priorities. Specifically, you need to recruit men, women into that security force. If you don't recruit more into it, you're wasting your time. This idea of state police that people are talking about, it doesn't necessarily translate to more security personnel. That's my concern. People are thinking that it's going to translate to more security personnel. It's not necessarily going to do that. The federal government might decide to retire national police officers and or kind of redesignate them into states that want to use them as a way of cutting down on its own expenditure. So in this country, I suspect they may even do that because this country they have a very, very nasty way of trying to keep us where we are, where we don't make a lot of progress. They have a nasty way of doing that. Mark my word today, this video might not age well, or it might age very well. If the federal government is not serious about national security, what you are going to see, one, either they are not going to create the state police, or when they do, they are going to ensure that our state police doesn't have the manpower that they need to be able to transform our security situation around. They are not going to have enough manpower in that state police, because either they will retire the national police officers so that by the time you get some from the local level, you still have the same number of police officers, or just slightly more. That doesn't make much of a difference, because like I said, in the end, it's mostly about numbers. If you don't have enough people in the space, in the Nigerian space, the land everywhere, Bakassi, Sambisa Forest, all those places, if you don't have security forces everywhere manning different outposts, this problem is going to carry on. That is the only thing that can ensure it goes away permanently. And not only for the bandits, not only for the terrorists, it's also going to help Nigeria have a lot more sure-footed nature in terms of its national security. Because now you can protect your borders. Your land, everywhere in your land, you are monitoring almost every corner in the land. But right now, anybody can come into Nigeria. Can you imagine who says anybody can stop the American Special Forces from coming to Nigeria any moment they choose? Nothing can stop them. We don't even have a good radar system to even detect them at all. They could just come and do whatever they like and leave. That makes us very vulnerable. That makes our politicians very vulnerable. That makes the ones that are going to be elected into office have little chance of changing anything. How can you change anything when you get there, you find out that, oh my God, we are naked here. I can't do anything. If I try to do anything, I'm gone. What you just do is like, why should I risk my life when they are offering me $10,000? Why should I risk my life when they are offering me $100,000? I will take the money and go. Most Nigerians will take that money and go. 99.9% of Nigerians will take that money. This is why we have to take national security very seriously as a people. Because until we truly, truly understand it and see this in as sacred, you are not going to have a nation. You're just going to have the people that keep complaining and complaining until they are put out of their misery. Because once you have that national security, it gives you this, it's almost as if you were once drunk or asleep, suddenly you wake up. Once you have that national security umbrella around the nation. The truth is we've never had it. And most people think we've had it before. We never had it. When first stack was happening, Nigeria was having the oil boom and all those things. It just seemed like we had it. We're pulling a lot of influence. We are talking about South African apartheid system. We are saying we are not beholden to the West. And all. Yeah, you can say all this in, but how can you back it up? You can't back it up because you don't have any power. It's just a facade to make us seem like we are important because we are selling oil. You forget that the reason why that oil market was even functional was because of the same West and the same world order that you don't have any stake in. You didn't create. You don't have any stake in it. You were not part of the creation of that world order. How can a servant in a house, when the owner of the house decides to hand the keys over to the servant, what does the servant know about how the owner built the house? What does the servant know about what the owner did to have enough resources to build the house? The servant may be a very good servant, very good, knows very, very ethical person. But in reality, maybe the owner of the house was an astronaut, a nuclear scientist, a bioengineering expert. So you can see you need the knowledge, you need the experience to be the person that can actually create that property, to actually be able to do it. If you hand the property over to a servant, the servant can only maintain it. And they will not be able to do a good job because they don't have enough resources to be, they are not generating enough income to be able to maintain it. Everybody will just come and start taking stuff from the servant. The servant will lose everything before long because they will not even understand how to secure the property very well. All they know about is just serving, cleaning the house and all the rest. But while the boss didn't just build the house, he knows how he has influence in the society to ensure that whatever is coming to that house doesn't get there as a threat. That is what we are like. We are like a people that are just we were just handed the keys to the castle, and the people that handed the keys over to us left. We thought we had a country. You don't have a country. You just have a land or a country. You can, to be fair, you can still call it a country that somebody handed over to you. It's not yours. You didn't create it. Even if we went on to write constitutions, right? We even did constitution multiple times. Yeah, we did all those things. It still doesn't mean we have gained the knowledge, gained the insight of nation creation, the spirit that is involved in creating nation. We didn't have it. what you needed to do to have those things, generally, most people have to fight for their country. They have to fight for their lives. They have to fight to save their loved one. They have to fight to save their land. They have to fight other people that want to take everything they've got. Well, by the time you finish fighting them, what those leaders that come out from that system, that situation, behave like, that's what you see other nations doing. But because we didn't go through that process, why would we behave like that? We can't behave like that. And it begs the question, why should you blame your leaders? Why bother blaming them? They don't know. They don't know what it takes. They've not been through it. They might know about it intellectually like I do. It doesn't mean they feel it. And it doesn't mean the people feel it. Because we also have to remember, for you to lead, the people have to believe in you. The people want to also sacrifice for you. How many Nigerians are willing to sacrifice for their leaders? Okay, definitely not this leader. But for a good leader, maybe Nigerians will. If Nigeria have a good leader, even with the Nigerian attitude right now, I don't know whether they will actually. Why am I saying that they will? There's no guarantee that Nigerians will behave themselves if they see a leader that is good. Because a good leader might require you to do things that most Nigerians would consider a dictatorship now. A good leader in Nigeria might require Nigerians to do things that they will consider dictatorship right now. And many Nigerians will not like it. As a matter of fact, the leader that is going to transform Nigeria might be a leader that will do things that will be so horrible beyond anything any Nigerian leader has ever done. And do you think Nigerians will take it? No, they are not ready now. But if somebody, let's say Egypt, decides to attack Nigeria one day and beat Nigerians and almost finish us off, then we manage to recover from it. Those leaders that will come out from that situation, you think people will not listen to them then? You think people will not listen to them when they say, hey, these 50,000 people are in our way? People will listen to them. People will like, if you are these 50,000 people and you want to be in our way so that the 250 million of us, we are not going to have it. They will come after them. The people will be more passionate. They will feel so strongly about defending themselves because they know what it's like not to be able to do those things, because they've seen what foreigners do to them. They've seen what it's like to watch your own family members, one family after the other gets destroyed because you didn't defend your people. All these things are quite important things. And when we are saying, when I say this, it sounds outlandish because it's not happened. It hasn't happened. Right? Do Nigerians ever believe that we're ever going to get invaded? Most Nigerians, if you ask them today, it's quite an important question to ask whether they actually believe we are going to ever get invaded. They will think no. They will think no, because they don't have any reason to think so that we're going to get invaded. But the truth is that almost every self-respecting nation prepares for it, even when they don't have any reason to believe they will get invaded, but they prepare for it anyway. But Nigerians don't. That's why I think we just don't have what it takes. We just don't have it. We've not lived it. How can we do it when we don't have it? It's not within us to do it. And it's not only us, to be fair. It's not only Nigerians. It's many African countries. So if we are to define what we must do, this is not a may. What we must do to get out of this is all the issues I've outlined regarding national security. And I'm sure President Tinubu knows this. I'm sure Shetima knows this. I'm sure Peter Obi knows this. I'm sure Kwakwaso knows this. And I'm sure Atiku knows this. All these, when you sit here arguing with me, it makes no difference because all these other leaders, they already know the problem. They know. The only reason why they are not doing it, many of them are scared to do the right thing for the nation. He says, what makes Europe and US better is their socialist programs, especially by Europe. Especially Europe. Yes, but if they are subject to the kind of problem, if you take UK's nuclear weapons, ballistic missiles away from them, watch how fast they become poor. Watch how fast, because half of the money that people put in their hands will not be there anymore. Because nobody will respect you and put so much money in your hands Do you know how much goes through the London, the capital of London, London City, every day? If I'm not mistaken, it's in the trillions. So this will control a whole heap of money every day, maybe billions. I'm not sure it's up to trillions, but a lot of money in the hundreds of billions goes through the heart of London every day. The only reason why people trust that nation to do that, because they know the nation is relatively strong. Who will put $1 trillion in the hands of Nigerians today? Because you don't have any way of protecting it. Why would anybody put that money in your hands? So this is part of the problem. It's not only bandit problem, it's not only Boko Haram problem. And I fear that many Nigerians are limited by their thinking about national security. They think it's only about Boko Haram and bandits and kidnappers, killer headsmen. Those are the only things they are thinking about in terms of national security. They don't, as a matter of fact, the one that may even be costing us more is the other areas, the other aspects of national security where people see your nation as a backwater, a nation that cannot protect itself, a nation that they cannot share important technology with. If Nigeria cannot, or any African country cannot master any advanced technology, we are done. If we cannot master any advanced technology, we are done. As a matter of fact, the only one we have right now is Dangote Refinery, a kind of, functioning. Remember, we have not mastered the technology of refinery building. We just build the refinery. Remember, the same thing can be said for the Nigerian refineries too. We don't know how to build them, but we know how to use them and buy them. What if similar stuff happens to Dangote? What makes you think the same thing can happen to Dangote? If they want to compromise, they can compromise and make sure that no expert comes and builds it again. Then we are back to square one. You see what I mean? National security affects everything. Everything you build, you have to protect it. You have to protect Dangote Refinery. You have to protect Boa that is coming on stream now. You have to protect everything, and then you are going to find that people are going to start entrusting you with more advanced technology. They're going to start entrusting you with their own trust, because China will never come and say, "Oh, America, Nigeria, I will support you against the West," because they know Nigeria doesn't have the capacity to handle their support. We don't have the capacity to handle it. Somebody told me this a while ago, and I thought it was a joke. When the person said to me that, why do I think that the Chinese will work with us or the Russians will work with us? Why would they give us anything? Because if they hand over the technology to us, we are just going to hand it over to the Americans. And when I thought about it now, I think it was quite correct. Because why would anybody give you anything when they know you cannot keep it? You cannot keep it safe. At least the Russians know that when they give their weapons to India, India is also an ally of the West, or more like friendly with the West. They know the Indians will not necessarily share that information with the West, because the Indians are kind of strong and independent of the West. But Nigeria is not like that. We've not made ourselves useful enough and strong enough for people to trust their resources and technology, and not to mention even their own lives. Because when you support a country, a kind of militarily, defensively, you are putting your own people at risk by doing that. Because Russians, do you know how many Russians lost their lives to Assad because they were siding with Assad? A lot of Russians perished because of that. So when you support another country, you are betting the lives of your own citizens too, to an extent. So it's something that we have to keep in mind. In terms of one thing I think we can improve upon, I think this is quite important actually. I don't know why I left it out all this while. Is the national cohesion. I think Hearts Valiant, I have to give you credit for that, because you did say that we can nationalism or nationalist thinking. You did highlight that. But this issue of national cohesion is something we can do better. It's really, really bad right now. Everything is so polarized. Religious polarization, you have ethnic polarization, I don't know, maybe even gender polarization is going on right now. So that's something we need to do better in the coming for 2026. Because if we can push for a nation where people that display tribal bigotry are kind of ostracized, cancelled, whatever you want to call it, and the ones that promote national unity are elevated. If you can encourage a nation where ministers that are elected in office, or the conduct, there has to be a kind of code of conduct of public officials, and maybe even well-known Nigerians, where you have to toe a certain line of national unity, no matter how personally aggrieved you are about any topic. Because what you find in Nigeria is that I've said it multiple times. Our people appear to be a people that are doused with petrol right now, and it's just waiting to be lit for them to start taking each other out. And that is not a good state of affairs. It's because the politicians have proven themselves to be highly, highly irresponsible with their duties. So for the next year, we want to push for holding people that divide Nigerians along religious or ethnic lines, and we want to hold people that encourage attacks on other groups. Those are what people have to be punished severely, and it has to be done publicly so that people can see what happens to people that do these things. If you do that, these recommendations I'm providing here, if it is done, 2026 December will look very different. I tell you this, I'm almost as certain of it as anything, like certain that that's what's going to happen. If you clamp down on these divisive issues, you deal with the insecurity issues by recruiting, equipping accordingly. If you do just those two alone, if we did them, and of course, the government doesn't go and do other things like crazy stuff that would destabilize the economy. They just kept supporting, because with more security, Dangote Refinery is going to flourish. By the end of 2026, you will see what is going to start happening. What you're going to be seeing is those people that come for dirty December, they're not going to, they will never want to leave. Many of them don't want to leave now. The ones that will return, they will not want to leave anymore. Because let's face it, Nigeria is quite a decent place to live if you have good security and you have just a little bit of money. And none of this division everywhere. It's quite a good place to live. People are respectful. Cost of living is cheap. People are happier. All those things. There are so many things to see in Nigeria that people will enjoy about the country if we just have a positive outlook and take care of all these people that are causing so much problems for the country. Number one, Abike Dabere has been known to retweet a very, very, very nasty tweet and laughing about it. How she's still in office, I don't know. I don't know. If it was me, I would never employ anybody like that. Because the job they are doing, they cannot do it very well when they are actually dividing a nation. Especially when you're not doing it, your job is for the nation, not just for a specific interest group. All these things have knock-on effects. All this stuff have knock-on effects. If let's say when Abike Dabere tweeted that stuff, Tinubu came around and said, how dare you do this? You are suspended from office or you're fired. When Trump said what he said later on that year, this year, I mean, that he was going to attack Nigeria, that he may attack Nigeria if Nigeria doesn't do anything about the, for his own term, genocide of the Christians. I tell you, amongst those people that are saying Trump should have come to, should come to and attack the country or attack the bandits, among those people that are saying those things, the numbers will be less. Because when you have a nation that you feel proud, you feel, even if you're not too proud of it, but you're okay with it, you're more likely to be against anybody wanting to attack it. If you had 80% of people saying Trump should come in, if people had done something about Abikadabiri alone, that 80% would drop to 75%, or maybe even 70%. That is how you start building a nation. If you don't make the people within that nation feel like they belong, why would you want to run for office at all? That is, for me, it really confounds me. If you don't want the people that are in the nation to feel like part of the nation, then why are you in office? Because there's no point of you running for office when you don't even like the people in the country, and you want to go and represent them. That one, is that not witchcraft? Because that is basics. It's 101 of any nation. You are supposed to encourage national unity. Not just encourage it in words, in actions, and how you hold people accountable when they step out of line. That's how it's supposed to be. Destiny, I also are tired too. So there are byproducts of economic injustice. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying this. Okay, let me see. She was on good behavior during Buhari regime. So you are saying is this government, that's where I think some people feel like even before President Tinubu, she was already showing signs of that. I personally, I never felt. Some people feel like she was good. I don't know. Maybe Nigerians are used to being abused so much that they can't tell when somebody is not really that good. For me, once I saw her from the beginning, the way she talked, I felt like she just wasn't capable of doing the job. My feeling about many Nigerian politicians is that they are too subservient. They are too willing to sell Nigerians cheap. I don't know why we do this. I really don't know why our people do this. Even Abikadabri representing the forefront of, what many Nigerians will encounter when they are in distress overseas, tells you everything you need to know. The way she approaches it is that you Nigerians, you must have done something overseas. That's why you're in trouble. Sometimes you want to come out and defend your people, no matter what they've done. No matter. Because what you see around the world is that, because if you don't defend them, people are more likely to take advantage of them. Not every time you hear about your country people doing wrong, the person your first instinct is that, oh, let's find a way to beg them and see how we can help them, because you are so weak as a nation. Then you start begging every time. Haven't you seen people that do things wrong in Nigeria and America come and figure out a way to get their people out? Many of those people that you see arrested overseas, they are actually doing some serious stuff wrong, and America will still find a way to get their people out of there. Or not only even America, other nations do the same thing. They fight them to get their people out from those countries. You can pull any string you want to pull. She has experience. I can give it to her. She has experience because she's been doing this for quite a long time. So in some cases, she has managed to get some successes, especially in more recent times when people like Air Peace steps in to assist our operations. But make no mistake, for the first 5 to 8 years I saw that lady in action, to me, she felt more like a slave trader than somebody representing Nigerians. She felt more like somebody that is more proud of Nigerians going to serve people overseas than actually building Nigeria up. That's how it felt to me. Maybe it's not true, but from what I can see, she seems to be too proud of the ones doing well overseas. I don't understand how that can be a good thing for your nation. And this is what I mean by the old generation. They are awful. They don't understand. They truly don't understand what they are doing. How does our people helping to build foreign nations build our nation? How does that even happen? Yesterday, I was listening to this discussion, and this Nigerian guy, about 60 something years now, he says he wants to return to Nigeria, which is good, isn't it? He said, what is he doing overseas? He doesn't have anything to do overseas. There's nothing there anymore and everything. So he wants to return to Nigeria. Well, he wants to return to Nigeria after he's 60 years. Yes, he's gained expertise that will be beneficial to Nigerians. He probably will have more experience, money with him when it comes to Nigeria. But his vitality is not there anymore. But he will offer something to Nigerians. And to be fair, or not to be fair, more like in a disturbing direction, his philosophy and his ideology is very tribal too, just like Abike Dabiri. So you see, the people that want to come and build Nigeria, some of them that want to return from overseas, his ideology is like Abike Dabiri's. This one may even be worse because he was openly talking online about how the Southeasterners and all the rest of them are causing problems for his own people in the Southwest. So this is our behavior that our people portray. This is a relatively somebody that wants to come to Nigeria and settle, and yet because he's older, his mindset is very, very warped. This is why I don't think I will support any candidate anymore that is over 60 years for sure. I don't think I will bother. Even if it's P2B, I can't be bothered. Because all these old people, they don't have it in them. You know, I guess P2B was born after colonization, but still, they don't have it in them. The far back you go, the more you see people that are willing to serve. They're just willing to serve foreigners and do, if they give them crumbs, they will take it. It's okay. To them, we are still alive today, it's fine. Sooner or later, we are going to be flying. I don't know how that is going to work. Your enemy is not going to drop dead without you doing something about it. Yeah, your enemy is not going to go away or start giving you success because they just feel like it. It's not going to happen. They will keep taking and taking and taking until there's nothing left to take. And then you'll be done. That's how this is work. It doesn't work any other way. I wish it works any other way, but it doesn't. It's just how life works. We have to make our peace with the fact that if we don't take things seriously, life will not take us seriously too. Why should it take us seriously? We have not taken it seriously. The precious gift that has been given to us, if we don't take it seriously, we're going to lose it. Ultimately, that's what's going to happen. It may not happen today. It may not happen 10 years. It may not even happen 50 years from now. But sooner or later, there will be judgment. We have been paying a lot of price for a very long time. We'll be paying a lot of price, suffering and smiling, as Fela says, suffering without progress. That is so boring. So old news, old. Are we not tired of it? It's just there's nothing. No, there's no. You see one street light today, tomorrow you see another one dead. What is the point? We can't even maintain even our roads. We can hardly keep it clean. No, tell me, Nigerians, why can't we even sweep our roads? Simple, making your roads, your streets clean like normal nations are. We can't even figure that one out. If I was any top Nigerian in Nigeria, I hold any public office, I would be embarrassed. And the president should be embarrassed. He should be doubly embarrassed by his nation. But you see what they calculate. Their calculation is that no nation is perfect. Some nations have problems. It takes a while for it to happen. In the meantime, let me catch cruise. In the meantime, I can relax and just do a little bit here and do a little bit there. Things are gonna get better. That's their thinking. But it never does. The rest of the world is sailing away from us. So if we are going to be serious as a people, national security has to be taken paramount. National cohesion needs to be paramount. Which other one did we highlight? I think it was Hess Valiant that highlighted it. Which other one should be paramount? Let's see. Law enforcement. Okay, this one is going to be tougher for Nigerians to do. Nigerian politicians are awful. Corrupt practices. Any public official that is found stealing or embezzling money from public office should face capital punishment, and that capital punishment should be carried out. Can you imagine if they carry out capital punishment on criminals or a politician that commits fraud or criminal act in Nigeria in the 2026? If they do it before March, before the ending of 2026, Nigeria will be transformed. You will see a change. Next year, this time, you see a change in Nigeria. Like the Nigerian government said, like Farouk now, I don't know about his case. I'm just using it as an example. I'm not saying he should go and face capital punishment before he starts saying, I'm advocating for Farouk to go and be hung. My point is, let's say he's found guilty, like incontrovertibly guilty of embezzling public funds, and he's tried and hung by March or May. That will send a strong signal. So that one too is important. And I know corruption is very important to Nigerians. Corruption, national cohesion, and national security. 3 areas that have been highlighted. I think there was one more that I'm missing actually. There's one more that I'm missing. Let me check the chat because Heart Valiant has been giving me some good pointers. Yaya Bello and his friend. Yaya Bello and his friend. That guy, I don't know how he got away with it. Nigeria is so full of, I don't know, man. I don't. They just keep getting away with all these things. How is that guy still free? The corrupt practices in that country. We have to be careful. I just hope this president knows what he's doing. The game he's playing right now, because I believe that Nigeria has a chance to actually ascend out of the mess we are in. But the way he's playing, he wants to do everything to please the West. I noticed that he canceled his trip to the G20 summit in South Africa because of the threat Trump made about national security or trying to bomb, genocide. But I get the feeling that it's because Trump didn't attend that meeting. That's why President Tinubu didn't attend. He wanted to prove to Trump that I'm on your side. That is what I think is going on. Because what other reason does he have not to go? The way he behaves, like even changing the national anthem to that was written by a white lady, that should tell you something. The guy's way of thinking, he wants to prove that he's on their side somehow and hopes that he gets something for it. The question is, what is he getting for it? I don't know whether he's getting anything for it. You know, if Pakistan want to do business with America, they get something big for it. If India want to do partnership with America, they get something big for it. What does Nigeria get from its partnerships with all these people? Is it the only thing they will get from them? Is it don't kill us, please? Don't kill us today. Is that it? Is that all we are getting from them? Because I don't know what he has gotten so far from working with the French, from everything he has done. I don't see one thing. The French people have not come here to tell us that, you know what, we are going to give us some, we are going to hand over some of our very powerful jet fighters, and we are going to, come and train some of your military. Maybe we'll be working together on building a submarine for Nigeria. Nothing strategic. There's no sign of anything that we are getting. You know what they are doing now? They are helping Americans survey the country, surveying so-called terrorist hideouts and all the rest. But America is not giving us anything. They are not giving us anything. Zero. We are not getting anything for it. The only thing is they are surveying us. Do you think India would do something like that? Do you think China would even come close to doing it, or Russia, or even North Korea, Iran? Even the UK will find it hard to do anything like that. Even if they're allies, Israel will not allow that to happen, except in the Palestinian territories. Egypt will not allow that to happen. I don't understand. At least Egypt gets something. Egypt has, do you know Egypt has 218 F-16 jet fighters that they got from America? 218. Nigeria doesn't have one. We don't have one. Our leaders, so people should know, all these people that are supporting our leaders, if you are supporting them, how is it that Egypt, half of our population, and Egypt has not been friendly with the allies for some time. Sometimes they are friendly, sometimes they are not. But we, almost 99% of our history, we have been allied with the West. But yeah, they've not given us one F-16. Not one they've given us. But Egypt has 218. Not to mention other things they've given Egypt. They give Egypt way more money than they give to us. They give Egypt a lot of this in security assistance. You can argue that maybe because of the Suez Canal. But the Suez Canal is just a transportation hub. But Nigeria has a lot of influence, but Nigeria doesn't pull that influence at all. Nigeria can influence many African countries in any direction. If Nigeria moves towards the east, towards China, the rest of Africa is more likely to move if Nigeria wills it, if we had the power, if we decide to make ourselves strong. Can you imagine if Nigeria had a 1 million man standing army today compared to other African countries that have many soldiers? They will be scared of Nigeria like crazy. If Nigeria says something, they will move in that direction. They will move straight. The moment Nigeria says one thing, they will go in that direction immediately. Well, Nigeria, we don't pull our weight, and we let everybody to bully us and tell us what to do. And our leaders don't ask anything of them. We just work with them and say, "Oh, please don't kill us today. Allow us to be in office so that we can just be do for a while. And after we do, the next guy come and be do too." What kind of country is that? That is so boring, and it's not a life. Your children cannot aspire to anything. All they can aspire to do is run overseas and work for foreigners. That's all our children aspire. If you ask many Nigerians, one of their highest dreams is to travel overseas, to go and work for foreigners. That is what our leaders have raised their people to be. To serve others, not to build their own nations. All these things is part of why we haven't made much of a headway on anything. We have not even renamed our country. We've not made a local language an official language. We've not we've not even written our own national anthem now, given what he has now done. Nigerians that even export music, we can't even create our own national anthem. All those things needs to be corrected. They need to be reversed. That what he did with the national anthem needs to be reversed. Reverse, and we create a new one. The damage he did with the currency, if possible, it should be reversed to a point whereby the naira should be somewhere at most 800 naira to a dollar. At most, it should be somewhere pegged at that price. You're going to find that the petrol prices will come down at the pumps, and people will feel a lot richer. And then, most importantly, our money will go further. Nigerians from inside Nigeria can be able to spend money and buy stuff overseas. How about Nigeria keep the lights on for the people before F-16s? You see, that is a point that a lot of people make, but it's a kind of chicken and egg thing. If you want to keep more lights on, you need more F-16s. Weak people don't get lights. But I get your point. Not every nation that is weak, militarily weak, don't have light. That is true. Like Ghana, you can say Ghana has light to an extent. Not everywhere in Ghana has light, by the way. Most people think there's the entire country. No, it's not. A lot of them still have power outages. But in Accra, most of Accra has power. But then again, Accra is not like Nigeria, where you say it's everywhere. But Nigeria is poorly powered. And one other area of Nigeria that most people don't talk about is that it's not that we don't generate power in Nigeria. The power that is generated in Nigeria is from generators. That is the problem. And funny enough, the generator don't need distribution lines because it's locally producing is by address or maybe a state. So we generate power. I think in Nigeria, based on my calculation, on the research that I did, I think we generate almost 30 gigawatts of power. This is almost 30 gigawatts we generate based, if you take the generators, solar panels, and all those other things into account. But it's very, very inefficiently done. And that is the problem. It costs us way more than 3 times or maybe 4 times over to use those things to generate power compared to what you would have been when you use normal national grid to do it. Yeah, I that's my point. You are see, Fly Aubrey. You are saying exactly what I'm trying to highlight. Everything we've done has ensured we will never get to that point. The world is moving further and further away from us. And when we say the world is moving further and further away from us, you might as well say our day of judgment is coming closer and closer. In other words, our people are facing a deadly threat as time goes on, if that carries on. Because weakness is punished in nature. It's not personal. It's just punished. If you keep remaining weak, you are inviting problem. You are the problem, not even the other side. We become the problem. Because you're inviting problem to come to you. And when they show up, there's no use of an antelope negotiating or pleading mercy with the lion. That's not going to happen. Nature will take its course. The lions have to feast. That is what is going to happen. And I'm sorry I have to be bearing this type of news to people that are probably preparing for, Christmas. But this is the negative one. The positive one is coming later in the day. This is the negative part. The positive part of talking about positive things that we could do, and the things that are already positive that has happened this year. We'll talk about those things too in Nigeria, because there are positives that have happened in Nigeria this year. It's not all negative. And some of the negative stuff has already come and maybe the effects of those negative things are beginning to wane. It's beginning to lessen now, so it's not as bad anymore. And with doing the positive things, um, you might actually start seeing real improvements in Nigeria. Question is, are they making any move strategically? That is the one that kills me the most. Why is it Tinubu works with all these people, but you don't see any strategic change? Except you want to say, some people could argue that the strategic change is that Dangote refinery is even allowed to exist. Because normally that is not allowed. Why do people not ask why it never happened for the last decade or so? 2 decades, no Dangote refinery. And now, to be fair, even in Nigerian refinery is still not working today. People like Farouk, they are the ones in the cog of the machine destroying it, making sure our systems don't function. And for the life of me, I don't know how people like that sleep and enjoy their life. Just because you get a little bit of money, you make sure your people's life are miserable. They will never see a future. Those people are sickening, because what they are doing is not even good for their own people. It's not even good for their own children. What makes them valuable and made them rich is because there was Nigeria, and the Nigerian people empowered them. And then they want to kill those people because you want to take your money and go overseas and put them there. Then you're just living at the mercy of those foreigners. The only reason why they are tolerating it because you just put your money there, and they can decide to seize it, like the way they seize the Russian ones. They can decide to seize it at any time. So all these people that do all this steal national wealth, making sure the national refinery doesn't work, I don't know, man. I really don't know how they live with themselves. Don't they have common sense? And many of these people claim to be quite religious too. Don't they know that when they are doing all these things, like, they are actually making sure the nation generally becomes dysfunctional? Some of these people can see beyond their nose, can't they? Is it just all about hunger for them and let me just get food now and forget about the future consequence of the action and leave the consequence for other people to come and deal with? You don't read comments, do you? I do read comments. I do read comments, especially when I'm having a monologue like this for quite a while. I can't believe I've been talking for straight 2 hours. That is crazy. I've been talking for 2 hours. So I do read this in monologue, and that's comments, I mean. Let me read the other one. It says Nigeria has the 4th largest oil reserves in the world. Is it the 4th largest oil reserve? I didn't know that. The economy and people should be served better, bro. See, to be served better is like saying, how do I even describe it that will make more sense? Um, it's like saying you found a child standing on a field of diamonds and gold, resources on the ground. And you have your own children, you have your own family to worry about. Would you care whether that child gets that gold or not? No, your job is you go there, you take the resources and you use it to make yourself rich and you help your own people. So that's how it works. Even if we are rich, but we have not proven mature to control the wealth. Some other person will come that is more mature, will take it and go and use it to build their own societies, because they are mature enough to understand that that is how they defend and protect whatever they own. And there are many of them that don't even have natural resources like we do, that God has not given them the blessing of natural resources, but yet they are performing well ahead of us. Maybe even because of that, because they value what we have that we don't value. We don't even value human beings, not to mention the natural resources under the ground. When we don't even value human beings that are above the ground, that can look into our eyes, Some of the stuff we do, to be fair, like some of the stuff you hear that some people, I don't know how many they are, whether they are, I know they are a tiny minority. Like you hear in the South is how some people are busy, practicing some very, very terrible practices that is actually taboo. How those people can even exist in any society, I don't know. We should have done away with people like that by now. This country really needs cleansing. I tell you this, it really needs cleansing. And now I'm beginning to see what drives so many other leaders crazy. And they go crazy and do crazy things. Nigeria seriously needs cleansing. There are a lot of stupid, crazy people that are out there causing so much problems. Doing things that are so inhumane to their fellow human beings. Some of them are so visceral. That's why I became a little bit aggravated just now. But it's still the same. It's just like corrupt politicians doing what they are doing, not understanding that they are actually damaging their own future too. Look at that. They don't even have that money to steal. They've stolen so much in Nigeria that they don't even have enough money to steal anymore. Mumu people. If not because of Dangote, this December, people are not going to be smiling at all. Petrol price will be somewhere around 1,000 naira per liter by now. Petrol queues will still be there. The naira will be under pressure. I'm telling you, maybe even a massive upheaval would have happened in Nigeria. It shows you how much Dangote is helping this government and how private institutions can transform nations. The truth is that most democratic countries around the world today, most Western nations, the basis of their wealth come from private industry. It's very interesting because capitalist nations are not associated with, how do I describe it even? They are not associated with a kind of multinational sort of monopolies. They are not associated with it. People always assume that in the West and most democratic nations in the West, that the way it works is that there's always competition. That's the assumption. That's the core of where it starts from. They assume there's competition. But it's not necessarily true. There's not always competition. Often it's a monopoly, dominance in one field or the other. You get, and they go on to build very powerful organizations that the nation that created those organizations emanated from gain a lot from it. So based on that, to an extent, private establishment that become strategic become national assets, for want of a better word. Even a national company, they are not just a normal enterprise anymore. They are like a national company now, a company that is, you might as well call it public owned. To show you how that is true, you remember during the crisis, the last recession, when just before Obama came into office, they had to save a lot of companies. That's when this term "too big to fail" came to be recognized. Too big to fail. But the too big to fail is not just too big to fail, because they are national assets. You're not going to allow your national asset die. You can't, because if it dies, it affects the whole nation. It's like the UK now. When the British steel, there's a company, British steel company, one company that manufactures steel in the UK wanted to go bust. The government had to step in. Even this year, the government still had to step in to ensure that government doesn't go bust, because to them, they understand that company is strategic. They don't care whether it's making money or not, because they know someday they may need to manufacture their own steel when they cannot get it from China. They think, you see, this is the way they think. They think into the future. Even when they are losing money on that thing, they invest in it. Because to them, they feel like tomorrow we may not be getting this steel from China. If China decide to hold on to the steel that they have, then we want to make sure that we have the ability to create our own steel, at least immediately. So they save the steel company. So private institutions are a kind of arm of the government, but not directly. They support their nation. They affect the outcomes for their nation. This is what Dangote has proven. An individual, how can one person normally affect a nation like this? That tells you how capitalist systems work. As a matter of fact, that's what drove the Japanese to become so powerful. That that even when the Americans got to Japan, when they defeated Japan, one of the things they made sure they do was reduce the industrial capacity of Japan. And even with that, look at how Japan still is. They had to reduce it because that Japanese industrial capacity was so much that Japan was able to manufacture so much weapons and so much technology that was more advanced than the Chinese ones and maybe even the Western ones. The West had to come together to be able to defeat Japan. So it's just like that. You have to take yourself seriously in this life if you want to be taken seriously. We as a people, I don't think we have managed that. And I don't see any reason why anybody should even feel sorry for us. Zero reason why. Except I'm just saying being emotional and saying, you know what, they should support us because we are human beings like them and all the rest of it. They should, after all, we are not their enemy. Why can't they just help us? Yeah, you can say that, but that's all you can say. But don't expect it because nations don't behave like that. Nations are about their interests because they have their own people. They have their own children to worry about. They have their own elders to worry about. They have to do what they can to get as much resources for their own people. It's just for us to also figure out how to make sure we protect our own people. And right now, President Tinubu, I've not seen one thing he has demanded from the French. I really wish he could tell us one thing because all he keeps coming out to tell us is, oh, we've assured them that we are going to create national state police. You want to balkanize your country without even knowing it. You want to create state police. Oh, we helped to neutralize the coup plot in Benin Republic. We almost attacked Niger, and we ended up breaking ECOWAS into almost half of the landmass is gone. All these things you've done for the West, what have they given us? Cancel the trip to G20. What have you gotten for it? Instead, we were threatened with invasion, with bombing by Trump. I don't know what he gets from it. I don't know what he gets from it. Why do our leaders lack ambition? If Tinubu came back today from France and say, oh, me and France, we just signed a deal. France is going to be building their jet fighter engines in Nigeria. I'll be like, now we are talking. Now we are talking. Now they are beginning to see us as people they can work with. You see, when a nation like that decides to do that in your country, if you don't have enough security, they will back you to have it because they don't want their technology to fall in the hands of the wrong people. But you don't see that sign in Nigeria. Have anyone seen that sign in Nigeria that these people are looking to work, do anything? There are so many other things that they can do that is strategically important. There's nothing. Okay, Merry Christmas. I see you there. Olusinwa Williams West. Thank you for that. Merry Christmas. A lot of people are getting ready for enjoying their holidays. You know, up OPF official channel is giving us electricity. What's giving us electricity? I don't know what you mean by it's giving us electricity. We've not gotten much of an electricity from anybody. The only thing we get electricity from is generators and solar panels. It's funny because Nigeria don't even use wind turbines. I don't know where we have ever used wind turbines. I've never seen it before. Is it that we don't have air at all flowing through Nigeria? Is that it? I don't know. Maybe wind turbine doesn't produce enough power. That's why. Because the advantage of wind turbines are quite good when you think about it. Because they work at night, you see. Who would have thought so? They work at night. Not like this is solar panels that don't work at night. The moment the sun blinks a little bit, solar panels disappear. So wind has that advantage that they actually work at night. Let me encourage people to like, share, and subscribe, because I don't think a lot of people do this on these channels. We need to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that people can be able to watch the videos and see the videos. And I have to be careful about playing videos now, because I have found, based on reports, that we are being flagged, that in terms of not being monetized, the videos are not being monetized, because some of these funny programs and that we play, they have music in the background and they tend to be flagged. Even when when I checked it on YouTube, they still get flagged. So it's something we have to be confirmed. Are you not monetized? No, we are all monetized. Even on my own Tunanja channel is also monetized. However, in terms of Tunanja hasn't gotten a penny out of the platforms. However, on Dr. Damages, it's meant to be monetized, but because of some of these videos, the monetization comes off. So it means that even if you get a lot of views, you don't get paid for it. But the views are also quite important, because one can still, it means when you get monetized, you actually do get a lot of funds from it. But it will be good to try to avoid that issue, and I will try to be doing more to avoid that monetization issue. So that is that on that front. I think we've covered quite a lot of ground, and we've done 2 hours of live streaming already, so that the video is not very long. I will recap the key things that we need to do to reverse, to make 2026 December one of the best Decembers ever. And for the life of me, sometimes I feel like President Tinubu doesn't want to govern well. That's why he's focusing too much on politicians, jumping ship and joining APC. Because if you want to govern well, you don't even need to worry about manipulating politicians at all. The country will vote for you for free. You don't even have to convince them. You don't even have to we don't even have to campaign that much. Your campaign is your performance. Maybe somebody should remind Tinubu of that. His campaign is his performance, but because he doesn't want to perform, that's why he wants to manipulate the political system. Nigerians are so easy to please. You just have to fulfill certain things and take off the head of anybody that doesn't want to perform. If you tell them to go and do something, they don't want to do it, you really hold them accountable. Then watch the Nigerians vote for you. You'll be getting their votes without even you will not even campaign. They will just vote for you. But then again, who am I to tell the president what he can do and what he cannot do? Because they all have their own motives for whatever they are doing. But that said, so the recap is national security recruitment, national cohesion. You have to go after the people that are dividing the nation. The Emsu Oluomos, the Abike Daberes, even El Rufai, whom I actually think is quite a competent human being, but he was quite bigoted in some of the statements he made about how he was favoring Muslims. Any Nigerian that does these things, you have to hold them accountable and deal with the bandits without worrying about negotiating with them or any of that nonsense. So national security, national cohesion, corruption. Take corruption seriously and punish people that carry out corrupt practices, and punish them ideally with capital punishment. A big target, find a big target, punish them with capital punishment, make them pay for it. Let's see who's going to come and cry for them. Those people that come and cry for them, they too should face the consequences. Because why should you mourn for people that steal the national wealth? So those are 3 to 4 critical things that if this government choose to do it, by the end of next year, Nigerians will do the rest. And that will be coming close to 2027, isn't it? The campaign period. He will not even need to do anything. If President Tinubu decides to recruit 200,000 next year into our national security, he creates 200,000 military positions, maybe another 50 to 100,000 in police and customs and the secret service. Because you can't go to 1 million in 1 year. You can't. Realistically, you don't have the the training facilities, and you don't have the resources to do that in 1 year. So you would take a few years to build up to 1 million. But if he starts with 200,000, he will not need to campaign at all in the election cycle. He's just going to win it, hands down. And if he did that, do you know how significant that move is? Most Nigerians will not even pick up on this. That move will be the first time in history since the colonization wars that got Nigeria to be colonized, that Nigeria has actually started taking its national security into its own hands. That will be the first time. I really hope people understand this. We've never had it. All this fake, ecomog, this thing. No. That is basically measuring height among dwarfs. We've never truly had it. If he does it, know that Nigeria for once has a chance. For once, there's a glimmer of hope that will emerge. That existential threat that Nigerians face and all black people face around the world will start lifting. And it wouldn't have lifted, make no mistake. It would have lifted, let me put it this way. Let's say there's 100% lift to go. It would have lifted just about 2 to 3%. I'm sorry to say that's how bad our situation is. I'm really telling this is how bad it is. We've really not, because what those people represent is just a sign that we are beginning to try to head in the right direction. That's just what makes it 3%. But it's nothing strategic. Anybody can still come here and look to wipe us out, and they may succeed. Because we don't have anything to defend ourselves. We barely even have bunkers. Even one natural disaster that hits Nigeria, a proper one natural disaster that hit Nigeria, you'll be surprised how many people are going to lose their life, because the country is hardly, the structures are not strong, the dredging is not there, the waterways are not properly managed, the healthcare system is just the casualties. Can you imagine if tsunami hits Nigeria today? We should not pray for anything like that. But then again, maybe something like that happens. For once, we'll take ourselves seriously. For once, we'll take ourselves seriously and say, you know what? Never again. We'll start building the levees, building, dredging, doing all the necessary to make sure that never hits us again. That is how human beings behave. Human beings react according to the environment. Some people use the term stimuli of the environment. If something hits you, you learn to behave yourself. Sufferhead is not enough. How is sufferhead going to force everybody to act the same way? But if everybody, including the ones that are stealing, faced flooding, tomorrow they will think twice. They don't want to be flooded. They have to think straight now and get the problem sorted out, because they too are at risk. But the poverty is not hitting everybody. So the people that is not hitting, they don't care. If a foreign military tries to invade Nigeria today, many of those poor, rich people, their lives might even be at stake too. So tomorrow, when they fight and the economy becomes weak, they will want to do better to make sure their neck is not on the line. Sometimes our people are human beings are selfish. Let's face it. Every human being is selfish around the world. They have similar level of selfishness. So it's when they feel they are also at their own interest is also at stake, like their own family, their own wealth, their own person is at stake, then they will act. Human beings, that's how we behave. This is why I was hoping that Trump was going to ban Nigerians from traveling to America. I really wish he put a whole ban, and all Europeans put a whole ban. China puts a whole ban, and then for good measure, they start deporting all Nigerians back to Nigeria. If they did that, including myself, they deport me back to Nigeria, I don't have a choice. Nigeria will develop. Because all of us now will be in Nigeria and will have to develop the country. Guess what? We are also now at stake too. And those leaders that are in the way, they are going to have a lot of trouble on their hands. Because a lot of opinionated people would have showed up in the country. And they will have to move. Otherwise, those people with their dollars and their big-mouthed experience will come and remove them from office. But Trump didn't do us that much of a favor. He didn't block everybody. European countries are still allowing our people to come overseas. And a lot of our people have their children with properties and everything in foreign lands. That's what I call a bleeding. We are bleeding, hemorrhaging resources every day. Most of our the oil that is being drilled from the ground, we don't even know how much is being stolen from there. You don't know whether they drilled 200, then they tell us that they took 100. You don't have a clue. Nobody's monitoring anything. That's my point. I feel like we are just bleeding constantly. There's no checks and balances, proper ones that you can rely on. And these checks and balances, I don't think it's something that can just be fixed on its own. You need a strong event. You need a strong event that creates a very, very strong person. When we say strong person, it's not just because the person knows how to speak and is mean spirited. No, because the people around him believe in what he believes in. That's when you're going to see the country change. That's when you're going to see institutions that they build change. When they build something, anybody tries to defy that institution, they will make an example of that person. By the time they make an example of that person, the bigger the person is, the better. After they make an example of that person, nobody will break that rule anymore. And before you know it, you have a strong, that's what they call strong institution. It transferred from a strong man to a strong institution. That's how you build strong institutions. The idea that you just overnight just create strong institutions, no, it doesn't work like that. Maybe it's not a bad thing Tinubu becomes a strong man. The question is he even for something good? If he lays a solid foundation, because you can argue that, some people argue that he has laid a solid foundation in Lagos, that's why Lagos is how it is today. Because he was a kind of strong man in Lagos, and he laid a solid foundation, and Lagos seems to be enjoying that foundation. Whether it was him or not, something is happening in Lagos that is helping Lagos sustain the trajectory of growth. But I think it's exaggerated in many parts, but there's still that sense that is moving in the right direction. So if you can do that in Nigeria and put something sustainable as a strong man, because if everybody is in your party, technically you should be able to do almost anything you want. And so far, what he has used that power for, I'm not very impressed. For one, he didn't create Dangote refinery. It wasn't Tinubu that did it. He didn't even remove the fuel subsidies. It was Buhari that passed the law to do that. So the key things that made a difference in this government, it wasn't him that did it. It wasn't President Tinubu. The only thing that he has done so far that we've not seen the results, so far, if anything, he's just handed our details to the French, is the tax reform bill. The student loans one is a good one. I think some students are going to gain from it, but it's not strategic. It's not pivotal. But it may have saved the universities from going on strike, which, again, make no mistake, you can also argue that it's an accomplishment from him, but it's not 4 years yet, so we don't know. After 4 years of him being in office and there's not one strike, you have to give him some credit for that. I don't just know what my problem is that our leader don't just have ambition. That's all my worry for them. I just feel like they are not there to serve the people. So let me check how much likes this video has gotten to see whether the few people that are watching, not a lot of people are watching, I have to say, whether they've liked the video. Because it's important people, take their time, click the like button. It doesn't kill you, it doesn't do you any harm. Just helps people see the video even more. And I know a lot of people are doing Christmas right now. No, not a lot of people are coming out to come and watch this stuff, this live stream. You see what I mean? Okay, yeah, not a lot of people, to be fair. Not a lot of people are on Dr. Damages, so the likes are not very high, but I hope that the ones that are present make some effort to just go to the likes button and click it, because a lot more people will get to see the video then, because I think YouTube uses the algorithm to check the likes and then show it to more people to invite them to come and watch. So the most, like I said, the most things that needs to be done, I've stated them multiple times, so anybody that watches this video will probably pick up on it, that I've said that national security, cohesion, and corruption. If you want to deal with all these problems, deal with them properly. And if Tinubu dealt with these things, he doesn't even have to campaign. I would just don't bother campaigning. You win. I don't even think anybody will bother running against him. If Tinubu just does national security stuff alone, that recruits that many into the national security forces alone, watch Nigeria. Just watch what happens in the country. The country will start transforming, and Tinubu may even end up becoming one of the greatest presidents Nigeria has produced, because people value their safety. They may hate you when you are doing it, but they value their safety. Once they know they have that, many Nigerians will start returning home. I will. Even with the situation that it is right now, I want to return home too. So why would many not return home if they feel that they are safe? They will come for dirty December and stay for dirty January, dirty February, dirty March, dirty April. It's going to be all dirty months suddenly. Nobody wants to live again. So Lagos, a lot of people like Lagos. A lot of people that come from America to Lagos, they actually like it, because Lagos has this thing where it's crazy, but it still has a level of the African aspect of it that people enjoy, and the innocence. I have to say, Nigerians have this innocence about them, which I fear is a part of the problem, because I don't know how you can maintain such innocence and expect to survive. It's a tragic situation, isn't it? You can't be that innocent in this world. It's sad, but that is the nature of life. You have to wake up to the realities, except you can be able to master the art of being either looking innocent, but why not being innocent? If you can master that act, Nigeria can pull it off. Because Nigerians, when you come to Nigeria, there's this innocent. People are very friendly. They welcome foreigners. They talk to people. And many of them, because of Lagos is by and large majority Yoruba people. They have this respect culture too that they have that is quite welcoming to foreigners. Foreigners like to see that, especially black foreigners, black Americans, black Africans, anybody that comes to Lagos, they enjoy it for that. And I think that part of it is really, really good. But that said, if we don't do some of all these things we are talking about, all those gains can be reversed like that. Make no mistake, Nigeria has made some gains in the last 1 or 2 years. I would like to say that it has nothing to do with Tinubu at all, because it was all in the hands of Dangote. And what else again? And the subsidy removal that took place. The measurable progress this government has made is quite limited. It's really, really, really limited. So the gains have not fully flowed through yet. You can argue that the student loans one is coming through slowly, but it hasn't capitalized on graduates that gain from his student loans. And the Lagos Calabar Road is not even close to half done. The tax reform bill that I just passed is not close to actually, people actually making gains out of it. If anything, it's just going to bring more pain at first to people. So I don't know any of his real policies that has helped Nigeria. The only one you can say maybe opening the floodgate for Nigeria to go and buy food from overseas. And that is not necessarily a good thing, because if you are buying food from overseas, it means your local producers are suffering. And that is something that, and I think President Buhari made a lot of effort to support the local producers and protect them. But this government has done a lot of damage that will take a while to, if possible, if it's even possible to recover in time. Because, sorry, because the government did say that they are supplying machineries, like tractors, agricultural equipment to different regions so that they can increase output of agricultural products. So maybe it's a strategy that they are looking to use, whereby they open the floodgate for food to come in temporarily, then ramp up the agricultural production, then shut the gates. If they do that, maybe strategy might work. It's not impossible. But sometimes I just feel like this government, they are not very deliberate. They are not, that's not their lookout. They just want to pretend as if they are doing some work and somehow end up staying 8 years in office, and not much has changed in Nigeria. Other than a little bit of here, a little bit of there, a little bit of that, nothing strategic. I'm sorry. I'm beginning to think that this government may never move enough for me to even say that our threat meter that I talked about, that we are going to get about 3%. If he recruited heavily into the security forces, we are going to increase our position by 3%. I don't see the government even getting to 5% of that chart. I don't see them. I don't see anything they've done so far. If anything, they've undermined us, our national security, by doing some of the things that they did. If not because of Niger Republic that kicked the Americans out of the country, when Trump threatened Nigeria, their drones would have been in Niger, barely how many hours away from Abuja. If not because of that, that military regime in Niger that kicked Americans out of his country. They had a drone base that will easily get to Nigeria within how many minutes? That's to cross the Nigerian border within minutes, of course. Then the question is how long it takes to arrive at Abuja if they want to do that. So I just don't see them doing anything that's going to transform things significantly. And right now, he's just talking about recruiting 50,000 into the police and 20,000 into the military. That is not serious move to make. If he creates state police, I don't know how you can create state police where they can be able to fund their police, because right now they can hardly even fund their civil servant staff. So where are they going to get money to fund the national police that they're going to put in the states? So it's something that the federal government has to consider what they are doing. So we all have to see what they do. And I really think that these three measures, if they did them by next year, December, I'm telling you, many of the people that oppose this government on this channel, that oppose this government even in Nigeria and overseas, they will start changing their tone. And rightly so. If they do the right thing by the people, that makes the people safe, you can go out in Nigeria without feeling like you're going to be kidnapped. The Nigerian roads are safe. You can travel the roads without worrying about your security. Can you imagine that? Most people will not be using airlines anymore. And that's another thing we have to be careful about. Do these airlines have something to gain from the Nigerian roads being unsafe? It's something we have to worry about, because when you start creating an environment that encourages certain traits, like you know how people talk about how the people that manufacture generators don't want Nigeria to get electricity. That's what I'm talking about here. Because if airlines are gaining from insecurity on the roads, you can see the incentive to ensure that carries on. Just a thought. There's zero evidence of this, by the way, so don't look at it from that point of view. But it's just a thought that we'll have to keep an eye on. Because if you have national security, nobody's going to be flying planes all over the place when they just need to go to the next town or travel to Abuja or something. Especially if you have trains on top of it. You have a train line from Lagos to Abuja, from Abuja to Rivers State. Really, I don't even know why you don't have a train line from Lagos to Rivers State. Why is that not even there? As a matter of fact, why did they not even build that as one of the paramount things that they are supposed to have done? You see how Nigerian politics makes Nigeria poorer? Rivers State and Lagos are supposed to be some kind of twin states, really, when you think about it, because they are riverine. There's a lot of wealth coming from those two areas. It crisscross them to Calabar, then from Calabar it goes to Cameroon and to other African countries. The more routes you have to transport goods, the more routes Nigeria has to sell its goods. Remember that train line that's coming through Nigeria. Nigeria is the most densely populated African country. So no matter what happens, that train line, as it's coming to Nigeria and going to other African countries, Nigeria is going to be the beneficiary. Because when it comes to Nigeria, Nigeria will put its goods there. Once we load our goods, it's going to have the largest numbers. And when it goes towards Cameroon and other countries, we are going to be selling our goods there. And if it goes to West Africa, we're going to be selling our goods there. It's a win-win. I don't even know why nobody planned it like that, where you have goods moving from from West Africa to all the way down south towards this in Congo and Southern Africa. You see, if Nigeria was doing these things, guess what? Nigeria will have an interest in Congo functioning, and they will have to do something about the nonsense going on there too. All this, the reason why we don't talk about all this is because the country is weak, and that's why you have to fix it. We don't even broach these subjects because it seems like it's out of our reach to do. No, we have the capacity, we have the potential to be able to do these things. It's not even that hard if you did just the basic right things for the country. You can make Nigeria exceedingly rich. Nigeria is one of those countries that has so much opportunity to be very, very rich, but we just keep squandering it all the time because this short-sighted, mind-blinding people that we have. It's not expecting anything from Tinubu's government. I'm not. You see, I don't necessarily realistically expect, but I have to also reserve a little bit of space for potential change or surprise. It might surprise you. It might come up with something that you never know, never expected. Because if he fails, if President Tinubu fails, what does that tell you? It tells you that all his generation are useless as leaders. Because he should be one of his best, isn't he? In terms of politicians, he should be one of his best of his generation. In terms of being able to govern, in terms of being able to manipulate politics, in terms of being able to negotiate, he should be one of his best. And if he fails, don't bother voting anybody within his age limit. I don't even think you should bother voting anybody above 60 years. Because they are all, maybe even 50. Because I prefer younger people, because younger people right now, I feel like they are willing to make mistakes. They are willing to change. Even when they come up, even when they get to office, behaving like someone, like Tinubu and the rest of the other politicians, the classic politicians. But because now they have power, they are more likely to contemplate changing. You know what they say about old dogs not learning new tricks? This is one of those areas it applies. But the young dogs are willing to learn new tricks. Young dogs are willing to learn new tricks, and that's why I believe that the young ones should be given a chance to rule. Let them make their mistakes. All these people that talk about experience, screw you. The ones that have experience, they've finished us off. They are looking to still finish us off even further. Now, this president has gone and given our tax information to the French, saying that they have anonymized it. In other words, they're not going to have access to the details. Who told you that they're going to have access to the details? What if they can hack it? How would you know? How would you know whether they've developed quantum computer that they can use to hack it? How do you know? And they are in the process of being able to actually create quantum computers that can hack these things. Why are these people so silly, really? These people are creating quantum computers. Maybe they've already done it that can crack any kind of cipher, except the cipher is designed with quantum computing in mind to defy it. But I'm sure this system that President Tinubu's government is proposing has nothing like that. And then, of all the countries you can hand our tax information to, is the French. There is no Singapore. There's no Switzerland. There's no Vietnam. There's no smaller country. You went and gave our whole head to a tiger that can chew our head off. I don't know. I don't know what it takes for a leader to understand certain things that are not good for their people. And maybe it's not the leaders' fault, it's just the people. The people are the problem, because if the people were kind of outraged, I know that there's so many people defending Tinubu on this even. They're saying, oh no, what are the French going to do? Don't you already have ATM, Don't you have Zenith Bank in France? As if it's the same thing. It's not the same system they use. And Zenith Bank, not everybody's detail is in Zenith Bank. Not everybody has Zenith Bank. And besides, people that have Zenith Bank, if the president gives their details to France, they can opt out. They can go out of Zenith Bank and go to UBA, go to Access Bank, go to GT Bank. They can go to other banks. But tax issue, you can't escape it. It's a government information. You can't escape your tax data. And you go and hand it over to foreigners with AI being involved, with the risk of them having access to direct real-time information of Nigerians and their tax. Not only Nigerians, including foreigners that are in Nigeria, the tax that they pay, the multinationals, Chinese companies, American companies, all of them will be in the hands of the Americans through Nigeria. I mean, it will be in the hands of the French through Nigeria. I don't know, man. I just hope sooner or later our people wake up to some of all these things. It's not rocket science, but some people would like to pretend it is. Maybe because sometimes when I say these things, I come across as if I know it all. I'm so correct. I'm so great and all that. No. Don't even pretend that. Don't pretend as if I don't exist. Just ignore the fact that I'm here. Sometimes I even wish there's no camera at all. Focus on the fact that those things need doing. If they're not getting done, we are all in trouble, including myself. We're all in wala here. I will leave it at that for now, and I'll try to avoid playing a lot of sound or music, so that these people are not going to come and flash us and start telling us that they're not going to monetize the video. So I'm trying to avoid that. I have to be more and more careful about these monetization issues, because we need the funds to be raised. And if you are watching, remember to like and share the video. Liking and share doesn't cost a penny from you. It just takes your viewership. And wow, House Valiant, you are really busy in the chat. And let's see, let me highlight this like and share sign there and text. All right, so we're going to be closing up for now, and till next time, I will see you this evening when we discuss some of the positive things that has happened this year. I've already said some of the things that we can do to reduce and reverse some of the negative things that happened this year. So we all know that now. What needs to be done, the three things, to reiterate it: security, recruitment, national cohesion, corruption, dealing with it with capital punishment. Government officials that are found to be corrupt should face the capital punishment. If they do that, the end of 2026 will look very different from the one we have now. Thank you all for joining, and till this evening, I'll see you again. Bye.
One and they go village with private jets. What's happening? Tell me what exactly is happening in Anambra State. Allow me to take you to a village. You are not allowed. Go back home. Monica, go back to Abuja. You are not allowed. Allow me. No. Haba. What's happening on this app?
It's a beautiful state. Ibiti, Otima Gifon, where Tiapis Adeshima Corin. Lagos. It's beautiful again. Ibiti. Gentlemen, Okudo Mari Biak Birodi. Oh, le Mari Bento Munai. I'm a official. Between American police and Nigerian police. I don't want peace. American police. It's okay. If they want to arrest a suspect, and the suspect is in the midst of people, they will only arrest the suspect. They got no business with the people around the suspect. Are you kidding? For Nigerian police, if they want to arrest a suspect, and the suspectee is among the suspectors, all of now what did you be suspectism? They go back all of. Are you American police? If they arrest a suspect, and they take him or her into their custody for interrogation, they will even offer you drink or for you to answer their question without any physical contact. Are you kidding? But Nigerian police, they arrest a suspect and they take you into their custody. This evening you will die. One question, 50 million slap.